off of that. Good pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to the director here for some recognitions of some deserving groups.
All right, Miss Gwynn's coming up with Maury Middle School volleyball. Coach Edwards.
So I'm here to recognize our volleyball team. Come around this way so everybody can see you. And Coach Adam Evans. I'm just going to talk just for a minute. I'm going to let Coach Evans take this over in a second. But it was a phenomenal year, groundbreaking year. Coach Evans has been our volleyball coach for 16 years. He took the team to state. There were over 400, nearly 500 teams that were eligible for the state tournament, and they came in 7th overall. I mean, it was absolutely outstanding. They did an amazing job, and he's an amazing coach. And they further showed it today by beating the football players. Groundbreaking volleyball game 3 times. They beat them 3 times. Those football players really thought they were going to win. They didn't, not at all. So well done, girls. I'll let Coach Evans take this over.
Would you all agree that was the easiest game y'all had all year? But thank you all for the support that you all showed us on our run to the state championship. Especially on social media, I had so many messages that I would read to the girls every chance that I got, and it was really important to them and really important to us to see the support and to let them know how many people were behind them and cheering them on and supporting them throughout that process. And so we greatly appreciate that, and it was a record-breaking season with the number of wins. This is the winningest class in Maury volleyball history. I think 60 total wins under their belt, and so and also the state championship for middle school volleyball has only been around for 3 years. We've only been eligible for the last 2 years. So technically in our 2nd year eligible, these girls went to state. And not only was the first team from Maury, but also the first team from our district to advance that far. So they set a goal early on. They actually, at the end, most of their 7th grade years, at the end of that 7th grade year, they set a goal to advance to state, and they didn't cower away from that goal. They accepted that goal and kept it on in front of them all year, and that's the thing I'm most proud about them, is they didn't back down from it. They knew that challenge and accepted it, and then went out and got it. So thank you all for your support and supporting these girls.
Good job, girls.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Hornets!
So Christy Walkie and I will present a few awards tonight. If you saw Dr. Arnold's press release Friday afternoon at about 2:30, the State Department of Education was able to announce this year's Reward School list. And for those of you that don't know, Reward School is the highest designation the state of Tennessee gives to individual schools across the state. Out of 1,700 schools last year, roughly 450 received Reward School status. 4 of those were in Jefferson County schools. Each of those schools earned this status based on the end of the year TCAP test, chronically out of school numbers, and also including WIDA ELPA test. This year, our 4 elementary schools starts with Talbot Elementary School. We'll do individual pictures. This is Talbot's 5th in 6 years. Miss Ramey is really excited to add on to her building for additional places to put her banners. That's kind of her goal right now. She needs more space. The next school is Jefferson Elementary School. Craig started asking about reward school status last year before school ever started. Like he was trying to get ready and prep for it. So. Our third school recognized is Piedmont Elementary School. We will get Julie Allen later on. And then our final reward school for the 24-25 school year is Newmarket Elementary School. On top of these 4 schools being named, there's a long formula that goes into this work. Jefferson County High School missed reward school status by 1/10 of a point. Mount Horeb missed it by 1/10 of a point. And Dandridge Elementary missed it by 1/10 of a point. So each of those 3 schools we tried to recognize for all the work they did as well. That would have been a total of 7 had we been able to just eke out a few extra points. So we do appreciate all the work that goes into there. The other piece that we are finally allowed to announce is every year, based on TCAP tests, schools get what is called a growth score. It is called TVOS. Like I said, you hear a lot about TVOS when it comes out, and then you don't hear about it again until the next year. Achievement tells us about students who cross a line, and we have some very high-performing schools in our district. TVOS tells us about how individual kids grow as a whole. So we wanted to recognize tonight, TVOS is put out on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is growth beyond and above the expectation. Like I said, so a 3 is what's expected. 4 is good, 5 is top. And we have several schools this year that were able to score a 5 in growth, and most of those schools also would have scored a 4 or a 5 in achievement. So again, a really big accomplishment for these schools. You will hear several of these, like I said, that was just announced reward school status. Jefferson Elementary, level 5 TVOS score this year for composite. Jefferson County High School, level 5 for TVOS composite. Maury Middle School, level 5 for composite. We see. Okay. Newmarket Elementary School, 5 for composite. Piedmont Elementary, 5 for composite. Talbot Elementary School, 5 for composite. Don't open it. Letter grades will be released at the end of the month. We will follow those up in January's meeting. That's the other accountability system we have. We have some great news to share there as well once we can.
All right. Hard work paying off right there. Let's see, that takes us down to public input. All right, who's up?
First one is David Seal from Dandridge, speaking about First Liberty Institute letter.
All right, remember name and address.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. David Seal, 730 San Martin Road in Dandridge. By now, you received a 4-page letter from First Liberty Institute dated November 10th. I called your situation to their attention on prayer at school board meetings and requested they contact you. Certain members of this board have expressed an interest in starting your meetings with prayer. First Liberty offered to provide free legal services, work with your school system attorney, and assist you in developing policies. I certainly hope you accept their offer. This is no ordinary law firm. It will be the same law firm that represented Coach Joe Kennedy in the landmark Supreme Court case, Kennedy versus Bremerton. There seems to be a concern that school board prayer would trigger a lawsuit. I disagree. The liberal Fruit Loops patrol about lawsuits are just trying to scare you, trying to suppress prayer in public places. Once you're represented by specialized counsel, the probability of legal action is greatly diminished, and First Liberty certainly specializes in liberty, freedom, liberty, and religion. As I've said, the last thing that godless liberals want is a school board prayer case in front of the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, or even worse, the U.S. Supreme Court. They know it will be game over if they lose a case like that. We often hear things like, what about other religions? Don't we have to include all religions in prayer? That question indicates a gross misunderstanding of the free expression clause of the First Amendment and of Article 1, Section 3 of the Tennessee Constitution. And I'm sending you sections on both of those to your mailboxes. And I suggest you read them. This is about your personal liberty as a board member to recite a prayer based on your religion. There is no requirement for you to step outside of your own beliefs to accommodate other religions in a school board opening prayer. Finally, I wanted to announce that my annual legislative training class will be held on December 2nd at the Jefferson City Library. It's been a popular event over the past 5 years. With the volume of legislation that affects your school system every year, I would think it would be of great interest to you, especially on the topic of following legislation. Come early, get a good seat. The class starts at 6 p.m. Thank you again, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Who's our next?
The next one is Jack Raymond, speaking about bus routes.
Hello, folks. We've met before. First of all, thank you for everything you did for the bus drivers, getting them benefits and things like that. I have some handouts I want to give you, and this has to do with bus routes, mainly for substitute bus drivers. Okay, your top sheet, after everybody gets one, is what is called a turn-by-turn bus route report. Every bus driver has to write one of these out after he starts his routes at the beginning of the year. These sheets, and you're only looking at the first page, probably can contain anywhere from 6 to 10 pages. These are kept in a notebook in the bus. This is what a substitute bus driver looks at. Okay? Now I'll show you. On your second page there, you're going to see one that is a special ed bus route that she completes. If you look on the top of it, it says Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's one route she runs, and that's her AM route. You'll find another one that says Tuesday and Thursday later on. That's her AM route. She also has a midday route in which Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is different from Tuesday and Thursday. This is what your substitute bus driver is looking at. trying to drive the bus, make sure they get to where they need to get at. It could be on the floor, it could be in a notebook. So your bus driver, your sub is looking at this, trying to drive the bus in the dark, in the snow, in the rain. Your next one is a regular bus ride. And you can see it contains many more pages and a lot to it. Again, this is what a sub driver looks at. This is their responsibility to have to look at and get where they need to go. This AM route can be a lot different from the PM route. And the reason being, you may have somebody get picked up in the afternoon. You may have somebody be taken to school in the morning and to take the bus home in the afternoon. So if a sub looks at this and says, well, that's no problem, the PM will be the same. No, it will not. You have kids that go to Boys and Girls Club in the afternoon. Okay, so they don't ride the bus. What I'm asking, can you read this in the dark? Can you read this? This is, hold it out at your arm's length. Can you read it and flip from page to page and keep the bus on the road? And then you got kids in the back you gotta worry about too, because you may not have a monitor. So you're looking at this on the floor or in a notebook. You're looking in the mirror for your kids back there, and then you're looking on the road to make sure you're making the right turns and you're doing what you're supposed to do. There's a system that can eliminate this. We have GPS on our buses right now that track where the bus is at. There's a system that we can look at to get this corrected. When you drive your car, what do you put in? The address in your GPS and you go, don't you? I've expended my time, I'm sorry.
I'll give you 30 seconds to wrap it up.
Okay, I'm just about there. There's a system that can be used. Okay, I don't know what the cost is, but it just got done in Sevier County. They just adopted it. Let me ask you a question before I leave. Cost of this may be expensive. I don't know. We got 60, 65 buses on the road. What's more expensive? Instituting a system that gets your kids home safe, your bus driver home safe, and the people in Jefferson County safe, or the loss of a child or a bus driver because he's trying to look at this and drive the bus. Your decision, folks. Thank you all for letting me address you, but I think it's something we really need to look at. There's a gentleman here that would like to be able to help you later.
Don has a question.
Go ahead.
Do you know what the name of that system is called?
It's called
Gentleman
Bus
right here
Right.
can tell you.
It's called what?
Bus Right, BUSRIGHT, one word.
And they're located in Knoxville.
Come to the mic and say that again, please. I don't think you
Yes, sir. Thank you all for allowing me to speak. It's called Bus Right, BUSRIGHT. And you could look that up, busright.com. And I'd be more than happy. I know I provided Jack a couple of videos showing him what it looks like. I brought a tablet because there's a tablet on the bus. Each student has a student identification card. We call it Safety Pass. And so they're able to scan on and off the bus. And then the parents have a parent application that allows them to see when their child got on and off the bus. The school uses it for field trips if they want, or athletic trips, whatever the case may be, so they know where every child is at.
What school districts do you currently have this product?
So Sevier County, right next door, they just recently signed up. Blount County uses the terminal. Franklin County outside of Nashville, we're in 36 states right now. I am personally located over in Knoxville, that's why I drove on over. But yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted to bring your attention what something we need to look at, folks. Thank you.
Someone's keys are over here. I'm assuming these are yours? Okay, you want me to just leave them right here?
All right, who's our next person?
Keisha Gillis, speaking about In Her Footsteps.
All right.
All right, how y'all doing?
Very good.
I'm a Jefferson City girl, raised right here. And I want to talk to you about In Her Footsteps. So it is a local nonprofit that I started with my mother. We call it In Her Footsteps because we did it to honor the legacy of my grandmother, who used to sit right here. Her name was Barbara Jean Sheets. She served as county commissioner for 20 years. And so we wanted to continue her legacy of community work. And we have 2 initiatives. We have our Classroom Heroes and our Student Empowerment. What our Student Empowerment looks like is we provide care kits to all of the schools in Jefferson County. Those care kits are Empower Her kits. Those are feminine hygiene products. And then confidence kits, that's soap, deodorant, toothpaste, all of those essentials for kids. We put those in discreet bags. Those are either with the school nurse or sometimes with the counselors. So that way kids that need those items, they can get those in a discreet manner and provide those to them directly. We pack those as a community. We have packing parties. People have to be subject to my playlist, but I have fun. We usually do that at the library, and we just bring the community together because we believe that when the community comes together, we can take care of everybody. And we want these kids to know that the community loves them and that they're willing to spend their Saturdays enduring my playlist to put those kits together for them. So we're in every single school. We have a special relationship with Mr. Wolfenbarger. So even at the Jefferson Academy, we do unique things for them. So if they need shirts, I brought belts over last week. So he tells me kind of what their needs are, and we fill those as well. We also have Classroom Heroes. We realize that teachers are ranked number 44th as far as teacher pay, but I see y'all doing a lot of work to bring that pay up, and we appreciate it. But what we created is this teacher supply station. So in every single school in the county, there is now a teacher supply station where we have the top 5 things that teachers spend money out of pocket on. We keep those in those schools. We got funding from United Way and the Marani Foundation to get that started, and we've been working with local businesses to adopt those schools so that we can keep those supplies stocked and keep those teachers out of their pockets. Another thing that we did is we initiated a teacher steering committee. We have one of our committee members here, Ms. Karen Smith up there. So we have a representative from every single school so that they can tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and how we can be better. One of the things they really helped us with this year is our 2nd annual Bundle Up and Pack Up, so you have a flyer for that. And that is going to be on January 3rd at the Patriot Academy. What we do there is we realize that when it comes to school supplies, a lot of people focus on back to school. And they give kids backpacks and school supplies at the beginning of the school year. And if you know about school supplies, those don't last the whole year. So what we do is a backpack repack. My mama named it that, so I can't take credit. But we do a backpack repack where we give them additional supplies. We also we have a warm clothing initiative, so we give out coats to younger kids. And then something happens in the brain about 6th grade where they can't wear a coat and they gotta have a hoodie. So from 6th grade on up, we give them 2 hoodies. We also give them beanies and gloves. And then my mama's amazing. She called over to Bush Beans, and they gave us 900 pounds of beautiful bean footage last year. So that inspired us to do a full box of groceries. So in addition to the warm clothing and also repacking those backpacks, we also provide a full box of groceries to every single family that signs up. Last year, we served 179 students and 81 families. That was our first year. This year, the goal is 300 students, and I'm estimating about 150 families. Right now, we've got 134 already signed up in Jefferson County. So just wanted you to be aware of the work that we're doing. We're happy to collaborate in any way that we can, and just wanted to make sure that you knew that In Her Footsteps is here to support Jefferson County schools.
Thank you for that. Appreciate all the hard work. Alrighty. That brings us down to the items for information. I'll turn it over to the director for that.
Thank you. Start out on Talbot and Jefferson Elementary School projects. I sent you out some information on Talbot, and we are looking at a proposed access road that I wanted to bring before you for approval. It would be coming in off North White Pine Road and be a 2-lane in, 1 lane out type road. There is money in the project budget to cover the cost of that road. I know currently we have issues. Ms. Ramey's back there. I'm not sure when that was. It last there was a medical emergency there at the school 2 years ago. So of course Kansas Tollett Road's blocked. The school entrance is blocked. so you can't get emergency vehicles to the, to a student, faculty member, or a visitor picking up their child. So that's an issue. And then also, just as that school has grown in population some over the years, last year it went above 300. There's more and more cars visiting that school on a daily basis. So we would definitely recommend that being added in. As the project got approved, the scope of work, I believe Mr. Jarnigan talked about an access road. We were able to purchase some property, and it would definitely line up with some a good use of that space to be able to add that towards the end of the project if approved. I don't know an exact dollar amount yet for that road, but there's plenty of money to be able to build that. An initial estimate, just shooting out there, was somewhere around $120,000 to $200,000 was to do the grade work, drainage, and the 2-lane in, 1 lane out. Yes, sir.
Would this be also used, I understand it's an access road, like for emergencies, would this be used for student pickup, drop off also?
Yeah, we would look at that, being able to bring cars in, line them up. So we would definitely plan to use that in that way.
Would this road completely go around the school or just access in and access out?
So it would tie into the existing road that is back there, so then there would be a loop around. Even if we brought cars in the way they come in now, they could go out that way. So there's lots of options depending upon how it ends up. So it gives us, right now we have no options. I mean, it's one way in, one way out. So it gets, if you've ever been up there between 2:30 and 3:30, it's,
You don't go through.
you just don't go, yeah, that's true. So that'll be on the business session coming up for you all to consider. And then also there is some threat assessment information that's coming.
I'll have to send.
Yeah, so we will try to get that to you monthly, and there'll be different levels of reporting on that. So we'll give you basically numbers each month, and then some months, whenever we have to report to the state, it'll be a more detailed type report that we'll share with the board on that for those threat assessments. Oh, did you want to talk about the ADA?
Yeah. Some of the ADA improvement school facilities on here. So in my district, we specifically have multiple kids with mobility issues. And I know the last work session, Coach made a great point, putting this over on maybe on the retreat, but there's a need over there now. I believe it was a PTO, worked with some grant, I think, where it was paid for 50%, and then they raised the other 50%. Is that something like that? Do you know anything about that?
For the playground facility that's being built, I
Yeah.
believe that's correct.
So, they put a lot of time and energy into this, and a lot of the equipment on there is all new as well. And my concern is when you have a child in one instance of a wheelchair involved, there's a special matting we sooner than later get done. It's not cheap, but I think that if, especially you get someone like a school where they've basically raised their money, their own new playground, I think we should be able to help them out so that this child has equal access to the playground. So I'd like to, you know, if you ever want to talk about it, we can, but my hopes is that there's gonna be needs in the future where there might be other kids somewhere else that have a need, and I think that we would be good to have a line item made with just the money in it, so that they don't have to struggle finding where it's at, but, so, you know, I bring that up to the business session consideration.
So you would say,
Thank you. You're saying you'd like to kind of earmark some money, kind of like we did with the playground upgrade program, where we earmark certain amounts of money. I believe, you know, Mr. Martin, we did this, what, about 4 or 5 months ago, set aside like $150, $125 for playground upkeep. Is that kind of what you'd like to do with use some amount of money for the ADA accessibility?
Yeah, exactly. You know, if there's money left over, it just goes right back into our general fund. So it's not like we're spending it and it can't move out of there. You know, and at the end of the budget cycle, we just, we would have to put a motion to put it back in there. But I do think that having a little account there for it to be used for that purposes, I think would be a good idea. It'll be already allocated. We won't have to try to struggle to find if there's a need down the line. We know there's some money already there. So, I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much this equipment can cost, whether it be the mag or just some of the equipment on it. From what I understand, I think they have the swings and different things for the disability, but yeah, it can get pretty expensive.
Is this something, Brecken, that we might could take some of the money that we have allocated for upkeep and maybe use towards just a little bit or something? I mean, I don't know what the cost is that we're talking about, but.
Well, you know, just for instance, this one specific playground, I think they have 3 or maybe 4 over there, but just this one, just to do the floor is probably gonna be $60,000 to $80,000.
No. There's not money available. is there?
Okay, said that, I thought.
I was like, no, I looked into this.
Are we talking about every school, or are we just gonna pick out your school and leave my school out, or how are we gonna do that? You can't do one without doing all of them.
Well, then, that money would be already in this account, and if one of your schools has a need, that's what that line, that's what that account line is for. It's not exclusive to just my schools. It's not exclusive to just my schools, it's open to any of the schools.
But we can't do the one without doing the all, is what I'm saying.
Well, if there's a need there, I think we should then.
So if we had an account with a certain amount of money, whatever amount of money that is, would we kind of do an internal audit, go around to the various schools, find out which schools, you know, need money for playground access? I believe this is just for external ADA accessibility questions.
Yes.
So we would then.
And it doesn't have to be just to playgrounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not specific to playgrounds, but maybe there's a need for, I don't know, they put a new sidewalk in and they realize there's not a handicap access.
Okay.
Or where a child has to go out to the playgrounds, maybe there's never been a ramp, but it'll be for an ADA improvement, that type of situation. Which may not require that much money to do a little ramp, not some concrete, but.
So what we would do is we'd kind of go around, do an assessment of the various schools, find out what's needed in each school, see what we have in the account, and then do what we need to do, and if we have to fill that, you know, replenish that account to get the rest of it. Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to understand what the.
Well, this is just in hopes of getting one of our schools that's gonna need this right away. I thought as far as maybe trying to do more like, a look at stuff, that was something that I tried to bring up last time, and, the one commissioner thought it was better spoken of at a retreat, which is fine. But if we wait till then, and then the next business meeting, we make a line item, I mean, we're already looking at March going into April, and not gonna help the playground out that needs that surface now.
So what you're talking about is approving an expenditure for, I presume, is it Rush Strong or New Market?
It's New Market, and
New
that's there if they need to use it for that.
Okay. I'm just trying to
But
understand
if,
what,
you know, if Dandridge Elementary is working on something and they have something that they need to improve, something ADA, they're more than welcome, that money's there already.
All right. Anything else?
All right, couple of weeks, or last meeting, Coach Bradley brought up about the director of schools contract. So 4 years ago, I was hired in, and then 2 years later, you considered my contract and renewed that contract. So that's kind of been the standard, even prior to me, was every 2 years that contract's looked at, evaluated, and gone. So Chairman Cameron, we shared some information. He talked to the board attorney, and I believe, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I'm actually, he can probably answer some questions. I know he's gonna be here tonight. So I've got for y'all the current contract, the one that when me and Doug came on, it was 2024, I think, when we voted on this. And then, this is the one that Mark proposed by the director. This is the one that Tommy has sent for us to consider. And, you know, this is like negotiation stuff, so we can see what he wants and what we want. And I guess, at least with me and Doug, when it was, you know, a couple years ago, it was pretty much, you can see on the old one, or on the current one, it was just some date changes pretty much, and, you know, a raise. That wasn't, I guess you'd say, too difficult for us to comprehend. But since then, we've got 2 new board members, and there's some things in here, you know, I want y'all to look at, because this isn't just me, you know, doing it. It's all of us. This is a contract between us and our one employee. So if Mr. Bennett don't care, maybe you could come up here and fill all of us newbies in on contract stuff and maybe answer any questions or anything.
I asked a question before.
Yeah.
Would it not be a good idea, the way I look at it, is for you and him to sit behind closed doors and discuss this contract instead of everybody in the world, you know, here talking about it? Once you all discuss and settle this contract, then you can bring us in and let us know how it goes, instead of, you know, I just don't feel like it's right to discuss. I wouldn't want my contract discussed in front of 50,000 people. I mean, that's the way I look at it, so.
Sure. I agree completely with Danny. I haven't even seen this, so I'm sure there's gonna be, from my business background, I never discuss an employee's contract in front of the whole company, much less the whole community. I'm sure there'll be things I want to ask that I could ask in private, or ask you to ask that I wouldn't ask in a public setting. So, I would just caution against getting too detailed into this in public. I would prefer to speak to people in private, and then once we decide what we want to do, then we can make it public. But there are questions that I would ask that I would never ask in a public forum like this. So
Yeah, so,
I'm just kind of echoing.
so this, I'm just trying to get this to you all, so you can see it. I mean, I'm not looking to discuss numbers or anything like that in here, but if you do have like, maybe, like I said, me and Doug, we're fairly new, and Don and Paul are very new at this, so I thought maybe our lawyer could help us out and just give us a, all about all this if you don't care.
Pleasure of the board. So, and that's really kind of the overarching premise here. There's no right way, there's no wrong way to go about doing this. You have to have a written contract with your director. My advice to this board, going back now a good long time, I guess 12 years or so, is in your contract, it's a good idea to set up performance goals, because he is your one employee. My advice to all of y'all and your predecessors has been figure out what are some of the things that you want to do over the next 4 years, set some targets, and compensate your director accordingly. Other districts prefer to just have a straight contract and there are no performance bonuses. I can't actually remember what the history here in Jefferson is. I mean, it goes back and forth, quite frankly. The rules of the road are, it's got to be a written contract, it can't exceed 4 years, it's got to be voted on publicly, and you've got to give the public 15 days notice. Aside from that, it's really whatever you all want to do. There are some districts where the chairman works with the director and they put something together and they share it like right now. And then the board looks at it, chews on it, maybe makes some public suggestions, and then it's amended, and there's a 15-day notice, and there you go. In other districts, board looks at the contract that's been kicked onto the field like a soccer ball, and y'all pick up the ball and you go talk to the director and you say, Tommy, I can't go with this, but I'll go with that. You want extra sick leave days, I don't want to give you, you want extra vacation days, I can't give you extra vacation days, but I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll increase your car allowance, because he's got to do a lot of travel. That goes back and forth. Other districts, and I'm not volunteering, but other districts, they call me, and they just say, hey, Scott, can you put something together? Here are my concerns. And so I'll say, okay, Ms. Mayor, you know what? No district had that very same concern. Here's what they did. She likes it. And then Mr. Hardy says, hey, I've got another issue. What about this? You know what, Mr. Hardy? Your predecessor had that very same question. So I'm the one who isn't doing the shuttle diplomacy. I'm not volunteering. But I kind of guess maybe I accidentally am. That is something I can do if you're not sure how you want to get to the middle. And so I end up putting something together, be sure it's in legalese, and I float it to Dr. Arnold, and if he's okay with it, and I push it out to all of y'all. On the other hand, if you only look at this, there's no reason for me to overcomplicate a hammer. You may look at this and you may say, I don't have a problem with this, except for pick one issue. If there's one issue, this gets resolved in tax. So to answer your question, I can do whatever you need. The board can do whatever it needs. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Well, there's one wrong way. You all can't discuss this behind closed doors. So, Chairman Cameron here can't call Mr. Edmondson and say, well, I'll go along with this if you'll go along with that. You can't have behind the scenes discussion.
Can we individually, as board members, discuss it with Dr. Arnold?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's your one employee.
Okay.
Yeah, you can discuss with Dr. Arnold all day long. You can say, Dr. Arnold, I love you to death, hug your neck, but I don't want this. Or you may say, Dr. Arnold, you're selling yourself short. Here's what we need to do. Now, your question basically is what's the most efficient way to move forward? Well, my thought there is, you look at the contract that's been proposed by Dr. Arnold and the chair, is that correctly? Or this is your proposal?
I sent it to the chair.
Yeah, and I'm wanting to, this is the first time they're seeing it, I'm just wanting to get, you know, what are
the next steps?
Yeah.
Well, so my suggestion here is, again, let's not overcomplicate the hammer. Look at it, study it, and pick up the phone and talk to Dr. Arnold. Sit down with him, have a cup of coffee, and just say, hey, look, you know, here's what I'm thinking. It may be that most of y'all are of a like mind, in which case, I mean, I understand your point, since they haven't seen this before, and you want to be very, very careful about doing it transparently in the public eye. You want to know your next steps. Maybe you have, you know, y'all are on the same page. You know, I heard a lot of schools were recognized for some achievements this evening. It may be y'all are very content with where things are. Figure out what to do next. So let me just say this. My suggestion would be, you look at it. If you have any legal questions, give me a call. If you have any thoughts about other ways to do things, give me a call. But if you're looking at it, and your contract looks very much like his previous contract, looks very much like Dr. Johnson's previous contract, looks very much like Dr. Edmonds' previous contract. If you're satisfied with it and you don't want to reinvent the wheel, it's just a matter of juggling vacation days versus car allowance versus whatever else. Pick up the phone and talk to him. You may find that y'all are pretty close to a consensus on something. And at the end of the day, if there's a rough spot, I'll be happy to help any way I can.
All right, thank you.
Make sense?
Thank you. Anybody? I appreciate it. It makes sense. And like I said, I want to just get this in front of y'all for private consumption, so to speak. Didn't want to like email or anything like that.
Of course, the proposal is public record.
Yeah.
Anything that goes out the board is public record. Something that was said earlier, I thought maybe I needed to, timing. So Dr. Arnold mentioned that this is 2 years into his contract. It's very common, very, very common in Tennessee among school boards after an evaluation, particularly after the second year evaluation. It's very common to decide do we want to extend our director's contract or not. 2 years in, very often board members have a sense of where things are going. And so that's an opportunity to give your director an attaboy, or it's an opportunity for you to give them some coaching up. But again, people sometimes ask the question, well, what's the rush? If it's a 4-year contract, why not wait for 3.5 years? Well, because 3.5 years, if you decide you're not going to renew, it gives you 6 months to find a new director. And that is not fair to the board. It's not fair to the school system. I am helping lots of boards do searches right now, and the pool is shallow. So it may be that y'all decide, we like where things are going, we want to keep them under contract. Anyway, the timing is sometimes a question that new board members ask. He's got 2 years left. What's the point? In Tennessee, it's just become the norm that boards at the 2-year mark decide we like how it's going or we don't like how it's going. So there's nothing unusual about that. I will say this also. Come June is a blackout period. So 90 days, 60 days before a general election, boards cannot take action on a director's contract. And it extends into 30 days after a general election. So if y'all want to do something at the 2-year mark, you would be in good company. You've got to do something between now and June. If there's anything else? I don't know if you need me for anything else on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, but if not, I think I would like to be excused.
Thank you.
Y'all have anything?
Make sure you drive Knoxville if you want to go the right way.
Be careful.
What about Knoxville?
Traffic.
Oh, yeah, it's a garbage spot.
So I'd appreciate, you know, if y'all take a look at this, you know, if you've got questions, or if you don't got questions, whatever, you know, talk to the director. I know he's more than willing to, you know, hear you out, and once we sort of, you know, if we can, I guess, vision wise, you know, by the next work session or so, if we could have something that, you know, Scott went over and said, hey, this is good, or what have you, and then try to vote on it there, what is it, January? I think that'd be good, so, hopefully this will answer any questions anybody had, and, you can see that, so, thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna talk to Dr. Arnold, and then if we wanna see a change in it, we're gonna get a hold of Mr. Bennett.
I mean,
Is that
we
the way
can
we
do
do it?
that, can't we?
Yeah,
And he's
so-
gonna collectively take
Let-
everything.
Pleasure of the board, if you want to float something to Dr. Arnold and he's agreeable, that's easy. If it's something that you two can't come to agreement on, or regardless, I work for you. So if you give me a call and you want to kick something around, by all means, kick it around. At the end of the day, the board gets to vote on the contract. My responsibility is to make certain that the contract you all look at is clear and legal and accomplishes what the majority of the board wants to accomplish.
I think that works pretty good, and I appreciate the work the director does. You see all the miles he logs and all the things he does.
So I'll be happy, I'll send something out if any of y'all, kind of like I did with my evaluation, and if you want to get together on it, have questions on it, we can do that in person, by phone. You can come to me, I can come to you, whatever's convenient. We good?
Yeah.
The next is Jefferson County High School after-school Bible study club. It is called Rooted. So within policy, new clubs, activities come to the board for final approval. So Mr. Rogers doesn't have any hesitation on approving this club. It has a sponsor. It has officers. They are within your packet. There is information about, somewhere in there, there is information about the program. So that is totally will be for you to consider at the business session of approving this club.
It looks like he is.
There it
Is it held at the school, after school? After? After school or?
After and at, yes.
Okay.
That is correct. So clubs do not interfere with the instructional part of the day, and they're either before or after, and then they are held at the school. It is a school employee that is the sponsor of the group. And then also before you is the curriculum guide. I know that last year you spoke about wanting that ahead of time. So within there is the curriculum guide and a summary of changes for this year's curriculum guide, what you see added, removed, and other changes within the guide itself. You see some state dual credits taken out, that's per state law. Departments phased out those. And then some changes in the science. Any questions on that? I hope not too deep. I have to get somebody, not to phone a friend. But as you look through this and have questions, feel free to just reach out and we can, if I don't know the answer, it's a pretty, on a certain course, then, we can reach out and get you the answers that you want. I believe that concludes mine there, Chairman Cameron.
All right, appreciate that. Correct, and a lot of work goes into them.
I have one more thing. I wanted to just share a second on Thanksgiving meals. We served Thanksgiving lunch last week. I was able to visit every school in the district. I had at least one spoonful of dressing from every school. I had several pieces of pumpkin pie. But we were able to serve almost 5,400 student meals. We served 1,700, almost 1,800 adult meals to equal 7,155 total meals served that day. One school in particular, Mount Horeb, I don't know where in the world they feed that many, but they fed 543 students and 535 adult meals. They actually fed 1,078 meals at Mount Horeb. The high school fed 1,074. So they do a great job of community outreach, getting their parents to come to the schools and be able to share in that day. So, yes, sir.
How many years have we been doing this?
I know Sam's picked up, as far as just the community outreach and those type things. Sam really got it going as far as Sandra, you, as far as at Mount Horeb, Jefferson Elementary, you all picked it up more this year. Piedmont picked it up. Dandridge had a good they all bring in families for Thanksgiving meals, but it's definitely at some schools greater than others.
I think it's a terrific idea. I just want to compliment the district and the schools who really put the effort into it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and Sheriff Coffey and the chiefs of police was great to provide extra coverage, making sure, not just for security, safety, but helping people park and get in and out and those type of things. So just a great event, great times to share that.
I will say, I always loved Thanksgiving dinner when I was growing up. Still do. That's the one meal I will eat at school anymore, and I'll run and sit in line. But I remember at White Pine doing that, and my mom or dad would get to come, and best day of the year, loved it. I'm glad we still do that, because some schools don't. It's a lot, but I appreciate our cafeteria workers and everybody that's got a part in it, because that's definitely a busy day right there. So you got anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, well, that brings it down then to school commissioner items for discussion.
I'd like to say thanks to the people that put the teacher's recommendation together at the banquet. That was one of the most complete things that I've been involved in school for a long time. And I'd like to see us come up with it annually. That was a fine, fantastic meal. Everybody was so nice and so polite.
So we had a few dates on that, and it just so happened that the date that this year that matched up was whenever 5 of you all were in Nashville. I should have been there in Nashville
That's what
too.
made it good.
Oh.
That was so nice.
So we'll definitely schedule that next year. I would advise you to attend if at all possible. It was a great event.
One more thing, Josh. On this bus driver that made this comment about those monsters, I'm for that, that's a good idea, but I think he's jumping ahead. I think we should start with the bus driver supervisor and Tommy, let them know tonight, if that's what they want, get a price and present it to us. I don't think we should vote on it before we let the bus driver supervisor and y'all discuss the prices and things.
It will look good.
And I'm asking y'all look at it and come back with a price and not leave bus driver supervisor out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, yeah. Good.
I have a couple questions. I don't want, we approved some capital projects, and I'm afraid, I just want to keep up to date on where those are, not the big building projects, but like the indoor bleachers for more, the overhang for restaurant. Do we have we set those up to bid yet, or do we have any kind of time frames? I know we're kind of squeezed on the personnel we have to put to them, but I was just kind of.
Yeah, we are, we have pursued, a company to come in and help us to, get the specs on the bleachers. So whenever you bid it out, it's really important that bid is concise, so that whenever you get bids, you're not getting somebody that bids on, some set of bleachers that's, I mean, we want a middle of the road type bleacher. We don't want something that's elite, and we don't want something that's gonna tear up 30 days. So we're working on those specs. Austin has been in contact with a company. I can't remember if they've come out or they're coming out in the next few days and working on that. We've also been down to, we ran into a little issue with I lost words. What's the canopy? The awning canopy at Rush Strong. We had a company that we were set to do it, and then we got word from finance department that White Pine was doing a canopy with the same company, put us at $51,000. They said that's over the bid limit, we have to bid it out. So we had quotes, we were not gonna bid that canopy out. We still may not. I'm working on that to get check that process, see what we have to do. And then,
the repairs to the stadium.
so we ran into an issue there that they considered that, I considered that a waterproofing, somebody else didn't. So we're probably going to have to bid that out. So.
Okay, so they're all in kind of pre-bid situations right now?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one more. Oh, science tables. So that's moving forward, for Jefferson Middle School, and should be done maybe by Christmas break, and then come in whenever they are able to get those shipped.
Thank you.
Yes. I'll make a note to update on those capital projects monthly.
I talked to Dr. Arnold about, I'd like to, if possible, put on the agenda about the bleachers in the small gym. Well, I call it small gym. We have 2 gyms at Restaurant. The bleachers in the small gym are right against the line. And kids, I know I have, I'm sure Mr. Williams have, kids are in there for PE, the ball down slide. Well, they're hitting their head on these bleachers. These bleachers don't fold up. We'd like to have some that would push back, so when they're taking PE, they got plenty of room. We've got some bids. I sent one to Tommy. Maybe the same people that's going to give us a bid at Maury might want to give us a bid at Restaurant. But I guess we need to put it on the agenda and vote on it before we go any further. If next meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody else? All right.
Well, that concludes it. I guess we'll then our adjourn to the business session next week. I believe it is 6:30, so we'll see y'all there.